Hey guys, as you can see, I am not gonna hit a goose. No, as you can see, I am getting ready to ride out to the mountains. It is an extremely windy day right now though, so I don't know how this is gonna work out. But we're taking the Bike Friday out on its first gravel grinder ride, and we're gonna try it on some medium trails, and we're gonna see how it does. I really got a lot of hope for this bike, I really do.
Four to 6 weeks later.
Look at those mountains. Guys, the Bike Friday is fast becoming my favorite bike to go out and ride on. I'm just out on a casual ride right now, riding around Sloan's Lake. I came up from the city and it is a beautiful day, and the Bike Friday handled really well coming up those massive hills to come up here to Sloan Lake. And as you guys can see, Sloan Lake's pretty decent size. I mean, it's not too bad. I don't know if you're allowed to go on the lake itself because I don't really see anybody out on it. It'd be nice to be able to go out and paddleboard or something, but I don't know if you're allowed to do that on this lake or not. You see this type of gravel right here, guys? This type of gravel is actually perfect for any kind of bike. Any kind of bike can roll in this type of gravel, and this bike is no exception to that. What I found when I went up to the mountains to ride this bike was that on this type of stuff, it did really, really well. But when I was riding on rocky terrain, the bike skipped around quite a bit, especially on the fast downhills. As far as the handling and control of the bicycle itself, the handling and control of the bicycle is fine. The tires just skipped around a lot. So I think if I had the full-on mountain bike tires on this bike, I think it would do a lot better in the harder, heavier, thicker, bigger rocks. This bike can accept up to 2.1-inch tires. So that's not too bad. That's full on mountain bike tires. So how did this bike really do on the off-road situations up in the mountains over there? It did really well. I was actually really pleased with it. The frame is awesome. You know, that steely frame? I love the steel frame. I'm a steel frame kind of guy. My Bromptons, my Bike Fridays are my favorite bikes. Steel is a material that just cannot be duplicated. It has that perfect amount of flex to it. It has just enough flex to make the ride comfortable, but not too much flex where you feel like you're riding a bowl full of Jello. So I love it. It's a real comfortable off-road bicycle. The versatility of these bikes are just amazing. You could use them for road riding, you could use them for road touring, you could use them for off-road riding, you could use them for off-road touring. You could do mountain biking, even though I wouldn't suggest it, but for the most part, man, I enjoy riding this bike off-road, and I'm actually beginning to enjoy riding this bike more and more and more and more. All right, guys, I am back home. I rode the Bike Friday all day. It is a pure joy to ride. I love riding that bike. It's becoming my favorite bike to ride. I love riding that bike. But we still have some stuff to do to that bike. I really want to put some fenders on it, and I really want to put the racks on it, the front rack and the rear rack. But I'm not going to keep them on all the time. I'm only going to put them on for touring. The rest of the time, I'm just going to ride the bike the way it is. As I said earlier, the bike did really, really well off-road. It really did. But a lot of you are probably wondering, Brian, you didn't really get much footage of being up in the mountains. Guys, I did get a lot of footage, okay? I spent a long time filming. I went up on the mountain bike trails, on the Colorado Trail. I used only one camera. I couldn't take a bunch of camera equipment with me, and I used the same camera for my POV shots on my chest, and I set it up stationary. I did a lot of commentary. I basically was explaining how the bike was handling on the switchbacks, how it was handling the downhills, how it was handling the rocks and the rough terrain. I did a lot of commentary. Just before this clip, my 128 gigabyte SD card was completely full and maxed out, so the camera shut off. So I swapped it out with another 128 gigabyte micro SD card, and I continued riding in Waterton Canyon, and I went on some of the gravel trails. The bulk of my footage was on the other 128 gigabyte SanDisk Extreme SD card. Now, as soon as I got done with this card, I put it in my backpack. There's these little bitty pouches, and I figured, well, I'll put it in this little pouch. Little did I know that this little pendant mount for my Insta360 Go 2, it was in that same pouch. No! This is a magnet. So basically, this card was touching this magnet, and guess what happened to all my footage? It went bye-bye. And a lot of you are like, well, why didn't you just go back up to the mountains and refilm? Well, I would have loved to, guys. But of course, I didn't find this out until I went to work the next day, and on my break, I put my SD card into my computer, and guess what? It was empty. And that was just the start of the bad things that happened to me over the last month. We had a guy at work. He was coughing. He was sick. The next day, this goon calls in saying that he had COVID. Of course, they made us get tested, and sure enough, I tested positive, and so did the other guy that works with us. And I wasn't too worried about it because I didn't get any of the other variants, and of course, I don't really hardly ever get sick, but I got sick. I got really sick. I was coughing my brains out. I had fever, I had sore throat. The sore throat was horrible. I was fatigued massively. I had no energy. I was in bed for almost 2 weeks. Now, I still had a horrible cough. It took me a month to get rid of that horrible cough. Even after I tested negative for COVID, I still had that friggin' cough that I could not get rid of. But after 2 weeks, I tested negative, and I said, I'm gonna go out on a bike ride. I can't wait, I'm antsy. I've been cooped up in my apartment for 2 weeks. I've been sick, I wanna go out there on a bike ride. So I go out there on a bike ride. And guess what happened? I get into a wreck. and I hit my ribs. I had to go to the hospital. I thought I broke a couple of ribs. Turns out I just bruised my ribs, but functionally it feels like broken ribs. The worst part was I still had that COVID cough, and every single time I coughed, it felt like somebody was sledgehammering my freaking rib cage. It was horrible. Every time I'm just like trying to keep myself from coughing, and then as soon as I knew the cough was coming, I grabbed onto something and held on tight. It was horrible. It took almost a month before my cough was gone and my ribs were feeling a lot better. So yeah, I was really, really sick. I was in a lot of pain. And of course, I lost the bulk of the footage of my off-road excursion with the Bike Friday. I almost didn't put out this video at all. I decided, well, you know, just put out what you got and just give some commentary on how the bike did. I gave you some commentary. The bike did really, really well. Obviously, I want to put more gravel-orientated tires on it the next time I go off-roading on that bike. But ultimately, I'm very, very impressed with that bike. Now, we have not done a review on that bike yet. I'm still going to do a review on the Bike Friday. I'm going to tell you all the things I love about the bike, all the things I don't like about the bike. I'm going to tell you everything. That is going to be coming up here in the next couple weeks, maybe a month. I don't know. We'll see. I want to get some miles on that bike. I definitely want to use it for some multiple things, and I definitely want to go camping on that bike before I put out the review. I am going to get a front rack and a rear rack and fenders from Bike Friday because there's only kind of a handful of racks on the market that'll actually fit the Bike Friday, but I want to put full-size panniers on the back, and I want to have small panniers on the front. I want to have enough cargo capacity on this bike for some really good fully loaded off-road touring. And the only way I'm gonna be able to do that is to have plenty of cargo space. So I'm definitely getting a front rack and a rear rack for this bicycle. But we got a lot of plans for this bicycle. I want to get a trailer hitch so I can put my chubby trailer on here too for really long touring. I definitely want to have a trailer hookup. So we got some stuff we're going to do to the bike still. I'm just kind of feeling things out. I'm testing things out right now before I get on the road. You don't want to test things out when you're on a long tour. You want to test out things on shorter rides just to get comfortable and see what you like and what you don't and do some experimentation. And that's what I've been doing. Now that I'm feeling better and my ribs are almost, you know, a little bit of pain still, just a little bit, but it definitely is a lot better. I'm definitely going to make some time to get back up to the mountains and do some more riding and try to recreate some of the footage that I lost when I made that boneheaded mistake with my SD card. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who stuck with the channel. I know it has been chaotic here. I know that it's been sparse. I definitely want to get to the point where I'm putting out at least 2 videos a week. It has been difficult. I really appreciate all of the kind comments and support and the people that are wondering where I am, you know. I really do appreciate that. I want to thank all the new subscribers and everybody who's coming to the channel and saying nice things and watching the videos. I really, really do appreciate that, guys. You don't know how much that means to me. I really, really do appreciate it. And I'm sorry that things have been really lackluster lately, but we're going to get back on the ball now that I'm feeling better. I've been trying to get a little bit of filming done the last couple of weeks. It's been very, very difficult, but we have another Brompton video coming out in the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that one. I think you guys will like it. And as always, guys, I really do appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you being really patient with me. Now that I'm feeling better, I think we can start getting some stuff done on this channel. If you guys have any comments, leave it down in the comments section. Slap a like on the video if you like it. I know it's not much of a video. But guys, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.